Hello and welcome to another episode of ChunkBuild. I hope you're alright, guys. Today we're doing the second part in our Roman theme, and today it is time for a city living house, a insula, a Roman insula. And this was a multi-family home that housed everybody from the upper middle class to the poor, and in the same building, no less. And also in Rome there would have been a lot of shops at the ground floor. And the idea with this type of... why is there a block missing here? Anyway, the idea with this type of house was that they had the shops on the ground floor, and then above them, just above them on the first floor, lived the rich. And then above them lived the little bit less rich. And finally, up in the attic pretty much, lived the poor. The reason for that was that the fire exits would have been better the further down you lived. So you were more secure, and obviously the rich wanted to be secure, so they would have gone for that. Now, we're going to talk about this building in detail. But before we do, I want to say, if you like these chunk builds, there are many of them now. And so you can go and check out the playlist, leave me a comment and a like, and also subscribe to the videos, because there are more of these things coming. Now, down on the ground here, we have these arches with pillars in some sort of colonnade, and every one of them contains a shop. This here is a typical barber shop. You sit down here, the barber comes along, here he has his tools, and he shaves you, and he gives you a haircut. Then he even has a towel that he dries you off with. The next shop is a shoe shop. The shopkeeper presumably sits here, and then you stand here and he tries out shoes for you. We have the stairs up to the rich people's flat here as well, but we'll come to that in a minute. Next up we have a bar, a pub, where you can go here, you can order your drink, and then you probably go away and drink it. Thirdly, here we have roasted chestnuts. And next shop is a hat and clothes shop. You probably would stand here and point, and you would try things on, or if in rare cases you would be invited in to get your measurements right. We also have a little bit of a hay storage for the buildings around here, because the next couple of things we're going to look at here aren't actually shops. They are communal buildings or communal functions for the entire house. And this first one is the communal kitchen. Because in the living quarters they would not have had the ability to cook. They would have all cooked down here. All servants would have cooked, or slaves, or something like that. And then everybody who lived in the house could just go here and get their food. And so we have this fireplace with some soup boiling, and there's even a chimney. And actually, if you look here, the chimney does come out here. And if we ignore the torch, ignore the torch, I say, there's even particle effects coming out of it. Next up is actually the inner yard here, where you can go up to 2 different places, but we'll get back to that as well later. I should say something while we're doing this, by the way. If you are interested in the block palette, it's quartz, white concrete powder, and diorite, which is the walls. It's jungle wood for the roof, and pretty much all the other wood is spruce. Now, it's the same block palette as for the first building in this series, which was the Roman baths. So go and check that out if you want to hear me talk more extensively about that. Now let's get ready for the seedy part of town. Here we have a little mini brothel. Followed by a a fabric shop, so less seedy, but pretty cool looking. From the inside it doesn't look too good, but it gives you a click of color in this otherwise very white building. If you don't live here but you feel peckish, you can go here and buy your groceries or buy a hand pie or some melon. And that was all the shops actually. So we're going to go through the living quarters starting from the bottom. So we're going to go for the rich people's home first. It only has 2 rooms, a dining room where you also would have slept, and a bathroom, which is indeed a luxury in this day and age. In that day and age, I should say. Most people would have gone to the public baths, but here we got a bathtub, candles, towels, and some other things like that over here. Some soap maybe, and it's very nice. Also, we have the typical Roman table where you lay down and you eat. And this is some sort of preparation area, so they've gone down, gotten their food from that building over there, brought it up here and eaten. Also, they would have eaten a lot of cold foods here, such as grapes, dates, and so on. Now, what's special about this flat as well is that it has its own entrance. The other ones share entrances over around the back side. So, what I like here, by the way, is the feeling when you walk along these colonnades or columns. It's actually fairly accurate to what you feel when you're walking around in old Roman settlements. Now, above the brothel and the cloth shop, they live, or one of them lives anyway. They have a fairly nice place here, actually. They have this bed and a sofa bed as well where they can sleep. And this would have done as a table as well. This is one of the bigger ones, really. So, the other entrance here leads up to this stairway. And this stairway stops here for the middle-class folk. And there's 2 of them. They are quite similar in the ideas to the bottom one, but obviously you can see the materials are a bit darker. They have wooden walls, wooden ceiling, and so on, right? But we have the dining table, we have a sofa bed, and some shelves and stuff. And the other one, I think, is fairly similar, although they have a proper bed and a bit less space for eating, and so on. You can see here that the windows are fairly small compared to the rich people's flat. When we come up here, we have this loft here, and it contains 4 little flats. And they're all fairly similar, but as you can see, they have some windows, but also they are fairly drafty affairs. So the best one probably here would have been this one or the next one, although as you can see they're very small, which they would have been as well. They wouldn't have been much bigger than this. And what I like about these is the interesting walls. So I have made little shelves, there's holes in it, and so on. So while it's just a spruce wall, both the inside and the outside has a fair bit of depth and interest, which is pretty cool. So that was all the functions here. Now, what I really like about this build, apart from the colonnades that I talked about before, is how many shops I actually got into it, and how different you can make little shops like this in Minecraft with a very simple means that we have available to us. I mean, it's just a couple of banners, some chairs, and some item frames and things like that, but it does really, you know, make a difference, I feel. What I also like is how you can tell the difference between the rich people, the middle class people, and the poor people in this build, and how their living conditions would have been slightly different. Now, the thing is with Rome, though, is everybody in Rome were probably fairly rich compared to most other people in the Roman Empire. So even if you lived up here, you would have been fairly well fed most of the time. You would have had access to pleasures, such as the gladiator events and so on, and you would have probably had some sort of rudimentary education, and you would have had slaves that could do your bidding even as a poor person. So that's that about the living conditions of the Roman people in Rome. If you were in Rome, you were a citizen, and that was special. So anyway, I hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, leave a like, and so on and so forth. I'm not gonna tell you again, because I told you already in the beginning of the video. So thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time when it's time for the third part of the Roman theme of ChunkBuild. So until then, bye bye!